In the Texas Gay Straight Alliance Network, it's incredible. We have one adult who is like a director of the Texas Gay Straight Alliance Network, and her name is Heather. And
go Heather.
And but the rest who work for the network, which are interns, are all youth. And we have a really incredible collaborative effort. While keeping in mind like institutional ageism, we also really work on interpersonal relationships. And I often feel, like many of them said, that age hasn't become a problem, and it hasn't something that, a component that has divided us in our work, and it feels really comfortable. And we're there for our support, and we're there to help each other, and we're there to get down to business.
I hate to make us be negative, but what's it look like when it's wrong? We talked about in one of the workshops this week, actually gave some of the stuff that when it goes off track, what it can look like. Is anybody willing to share sort of what it looks like when it's not working?
I think what it looks like when it's not working, when it's an organization that claims to be youth organizing, but youth are there kind of as they're tokenized, they're there as the face of the organization, but adults are really making the decisions and are really directing the work of the organization. Sometimes that can be very disempowering to youth as well, and I think that's mainly where things can go very, very wrong.
I would have to say a negative would have to be when, adults or, also some youth that don't understand that that there's different generations, that things shift, and if you are not open to accepting the switch or the next generation, it still becomes, that misinterpretation of that, that it's hard to keep that balance between youth and adults.
You were going to chime in.
Yeah, I like how you brought up the word empowerment too, because I think that when organizations work that say like, okay, we have youth and we want you to do this, and we want you to do that at this place and at this time, it's not giving the youth the power to decide, to make those decisions. It's really kind of just structuring it for them. And empowering youth is saying like, we trust your voice, we trust your decision, we trust those issues that affect you. And we're going to give you the space, the time, the resources in the hand, so you're able to fulfill those actions.
We're running short on time, but one more question on this topic. So you've all spoken sort of from the perspective of the inside your organizations. As a community at large, the big picture, how do you think we're doing in terms of working together or not working together across generations? Nobody wants to take it? Don't make me call a name.
I really think we're doing good. I think 2010 has become, the year of change. It's everything is just shifting. Everything is becoming, they're offering programs. They're offering, after school GED, like it's just so much being offered. And like I said, based on my experience, when I first came out, like in '99, compared to now, is that youth are they're so acceptive to these organizations that are offering everything to them. And once again, youth are making they are making things happen. And when I say that, I just said, they set the rules. They want to let you know, like, I want to be here from this time to this time. And they're like, if that works for you, we'll offer it to you. So I think that the fact that change is happening is really good.
I'm really glad that that's your experience. It hasn't always been my experience.
All right.
And I'm going to speak for myself right now. I think that we could do a better job of doing better intergenerational work. How about that? I think before, when we started, we were speaking about the mainstream movement, and if you look at like the things our movements are known for, they're actually known for certain things that affect certain age groups, and I just want everyone to think about that. And I think that we need to prioritize not only just youth becoming leaders and actually speaking for this movement, because our issues are real and our issues are serious, but we also need to prioritize the issues of elders in our community.
And it's not just generational. It's also, we have to work together as an as a community, no matter what age, race, however you identify yourself. It's everything in total that we have to come together for.
And I think to close, I'd like to hear everybody say, it's on a similar note, where do you see this community in 10 years? From your perspective, as deeply involved young organizers, a lot of yourself and your peers are going to really shape the next 10 years. Where do you see this community and its politics looking like? Let's start all the way at the end, work our way around.
Well, I think in my community, I can speak that we're already taking the steps to working with different generations and different cultures and different communities. I know that in our organization, we've been working with LULAC, the League of United American Latin Citizens, and we have the Rainbow chapter, which I'm proudly a part of. And through that organization, we've also incorporated the voice of the youth into the board. So we are taking those steps to linking everyone together. So I think in 10 years, I definitely see us becoming stronger as a community and just becoming more inclusive.
So a more united and inclusive community is what you see coming.
Well, personally, I would hope to see people less discriminate of age, less discriminate of sexual orientation, less discriminate of color. I think all the organizations here, FIERS, Youth First Texas, Texas GSA, I think we're all working towards that, so that instead of discriminating just because of your sexual orientation, color, age, whatever, we can all just come together. Like, instead of having division between adults and the youth, maybe we can also like combine together, like just become like one, instead of like division, like become like one whole group instead of like just the youth or just the adults, just have a mix of the two. And is that going to happen? These are predictions. You gotta get on the record. Well, as a new youth board member, I think I'm going to work on that with YFT. I'm going to combine us. That's right. Make the future that we need, right?
Right on.
Yes.
Right on.
Huh. Wait. What? What?
I said make the future that we need. That's what
yeah,
it is.
Definitely.
I think we're going to see a lot more of attention to intersectionality of issues in communities and community outreach. Also really do work in the education system, because a lot of it had to do with not being educated about these issues. And so going into training teachers and students and really incorporating that. And that's my professional spiel, and my unprofessional spiel is radical queers are going to fuck shit up.
All right. With that, I hope we'll start with you, Charlotte. We don't want your professional spiel. Save us that. We want the truth.
I know for me, I would like to see a lot more of coalition building. I think it's important to share resources and to hopefully find a common language in terms of vernacular, which is where I see a lot of the disconnect between not just like different age groups, but different organizations, that we're not using a common accessible language in which to communicate to create stronger relationships. And personally, for me, I hope that the greater movement starts to realize that marriage is sort of the end of things, and we really need to start with like the youth. Like, marriage doesn't help the youth, and it's the end if you're older. Like, that's what you do when...
It's the end of life? That's death.
Like, you've run out of things to do.
I think there's some married people that might disagree, but there's some that might agree too, though, so I guess...
I mean, what do you do before that? Like, you're young and you're trying to have fun, and you can't do that if you're disenfranchised and marginalized and homeless.
Eat.